Good morning, Patrick here again, live from Complete Health. And I just wanted to go through probably one of the most common things that we will see in our office, and that's sciatica. And some things that if you're suffering with sciatica, because actually at the moment we seem to be seeing a sudden spike and sudden rise in the number of people with sciatica in the clinic. And probably the main reason for that is that so many of our clients have had to kind of make their desks at home, and we've kind of changed our lifestyles a little bit. A lot of us are not exercising quite as much. Maybe we're not stretching as much. Our gyms haven't been available. Like I say, our office space is not set up or designed the same way. So what I wanted to do is go through 5 tips of ways that you can actually improve your sciatica at home really easily without actually having to see anyone, and then obviously some tips that you can do that obviously might help as well. So number one, and this kind of seems contraindicated, when you have sciatica, one of the best things that you can actually do is partake in regular exercise. It doesn't necessarily need to be running or weightlifting or anything like that, because there are going to be certain exercises that trigger. But as a general rule of thumb, actually going out for like a walk or getting out on a bike, or even sitting on a stationary bike, if you've got sciatica, massively improves the symptoms. And the main reason being is it increases the muscle tone around your core, it gets the muscles moving. It also helps get the blood pumping, which allows the fluid to get around the body and actually increase that healing response. So actually, funny enough, most people don't feel like doing any exercise when they have sciatica, but it's probably one of the best things you can do, especially if you're going to be working on those core muscles and the lower back muscles, if you can get those actually engaged. And again, if you don't know how to do that, that's where we come in, all right? We can teach you how to do those things. My physio is exceptional at teaching people how to do exercise when they have sciatica. Number 2, stretch. Probably the most basic stretching for people with sciatica is pulling the knees in towards the chest, or coming up into the cobra/sphinx position. Those two can be really beneficial. But what you have to understand is with sciatica is actually your sciatica is coming mainly from your low back, not actually in the leg. So where you feel the pain in the leg, it's not actually in the leg. The problem actually normally stems from the low back. So what you have to find when you stretch, if you're trying to get rid of sciatica, what you want to find is that the pain goes towards the back. So if you pull your knees in towards your chest and it makes your leg pain disappear, but it makes your back stiff, that's okay. Whereas if it makes your back less stiff, but your leg hurt more, that is not okay. And the main reason being is that if you're getting increased levels of symptoms in the leg, the likelihood is you're putting more and more pressure onto that nerve root, and as a result, it's going to be harder and harder to fix. So whenever you're doing any stretches, what you want to find is that the pain moves up towards the back, not down the leg. Again, this is something that probably a lot of people don't actually think about when they've got sciatica, is their diet. The foods that we eat and the things that we're putting into our body are massively going to impact the way that we actually feel. So if we're eating rubbish food, guess what? We feel rubbish. So the more junk foods, sugars, trans fats and processed foods you eat, the more likely your sciatica is actually going to heighten. Now, one of the most common foods that you can eat, stuff like Chinese takeaways, used to have tons of MSG in it. MSG is a kind of like sodium, it's a flavor enhancer that they used to use a lot in takeaways. Don't think they use it so much now, but it actually stimulates your nerve endings and actually makes them more sensitive. So if you've got a sciatic problem, which is a nerve problem, eating stuff like MSG and junk foods will actually heighten the pain. Again, seems really simple, but work on your posture. A lot of people, when they've got sciatica, they start to lean in funny ways, they start to bend, they start to push, and they sit awkwardly. If you can sit with better posture, yes, okay, initially it is uncomfortable, but as you get used to that, it takes the pressure off the discs, off the nerves, and actually helps to alleviate some of those sciatic symptoms. And going on from the posture, this is something else that I see a lot, is sitting long periods of time. People that are most likely to develop sciatica quite commonly will spend long periods sitting in the car, they'll end up sitting at the desk, and that sitting, what it starts to create is an excess of load on the discs. When we sit for a long period of time, essentially this disc is like a jam donut. If we're hinging forward for long periods of time, we're taking a bite from the front of the jam, and that jam ends up going towards the spinal cord, and that's really what actually starts to create that sciatic feeling. Now, if you're sitting for long periods of time, they call it creep, which is basically where the disc actually will be forced for a long period of time towards the nerve, and as a result will start to give you that kind of sciatic-y feeling. So if you can, avoid sitting for long periods of time. Now, if you do have to sit for long periods of time, e.g. if you're taking a long trip in the car, what you ideally want to do is you want to stop at service stations, get up, walk around the car, get back in, and then go off again. Just changing the position will take the jam from the outside back towards the inside again, and then as soon as you sit back down again, it will start going back towards the outside. But the longer you force the jam out, the more likely the sciatica is actually going to flare up. And then finally, look, this is an all-time bonus because this is actually technically number 6, not number 5. But number 6 would be if your symptoms are not resolving, e.g. they are not getting better, the likelihood is there is some underlying or understemming problem. Or if you're getting repetitions of the same symptoms over and over again, say for example that you've got rid of the sciatica and it comes back a couple of weeks later, the likelihood is there's a more serious underlying condition which may actually need a little bit further investigation. Now, one of the best things about our clinic here is if the sciatic pain is considered serious enough and it's actually got neurological deficit, we are legally allowed to x-ray within our clinic and diagnose whether there is something a little bit more serious going on. And if it is something that warrants even further investigation, we'll either refer out, or if it's not, then we can actually then start to manage that as quickly as possible. So one of the best ways to help you with your sciatic pain quickly is actually get in and see a practitioner, because that's what they're trained to do, is identify and correct the patterns in your life that are actually starting to cause these issues. So if you want to learn a little bit more, obviously you can jump through our YouTube channel. There's tons of information. We've even got tons of exercises that you can use to actually help benefit yourself if you are suffering. That's on our YouTube channel, Complete Health Eastbourne. If you want to know any more, or you want to listen to some other ways that you can actually start to improve your health, then we obviously have our weekly podcast that's coming out. That's Coffee with the Chiropractor, and that's run by me, and that's on both Spotify and iTunes. Or again, you can easily just run back through our Facebook channel, and there are tons and tons of videos and content that you can actually run back through about vegan diet, about exercise, about just about everything that you can think of to do with health. So if you want to get some more tips and hints, then you can run through that information as well. Equally, you can reach out to us. You can just drop us a message, or you can even comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions, and generally all the answers will come from me myself. Guys, until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. If you are suffering, obviously you can reach out, or if you know someone that is suffering, again, send them our way. We would be super happy to help. I'll speak to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.